Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to The Longest Journey. We have found ourselves in the world of Arcadia, which is apparently a parallel world to our own world, which these people call Stark. But we need to find someone named Brian Westhouse. That's the name that Cortez gave us, so let's talk to Vestrum Tobias, see if he knows. Hello!
Excuse me, Vestrum Tobias?
We can look at the curtains. Didn't realize.
Tobias. Just call me Tobias, please. I require no ceremony from a distinguished guest such as yourself. Did you enjoy the sights?
I guess so.
I don't know. I'm overwhelmed.
You all seemed nice.
Walking around out there, seeing with my own two eyes things that can't possibly exist.
Like a talking
I
bird.
kept thinking, it's all a dream. I'll wake up at any moment now and everything will return to normal. But then I realized, I'm still here. It's real. I can touch it. I can smell it.
Well, that's what everyone in St. Elsewhere thought, too.
It doesn't make sense. Nothing makes sense here. Magic, alien creatures, parallel worlds. I don't believe in those things. I don't believe in fairy tales.
In your world, in Stark, there is no room for magic. That is, and always has been, the curse of science, the fallibility of logic and order. They leave no room for the imagination.
There's plenty of imagination over
If it does
there.
not fit into the narrow perception of the laws of nature that your world adheres to, it's a fairy tale. But then, magic has its downsides too. It's unpredictable. It invites chaos. It puts the balance in peril in a way that science alone never could.
I keep hearing about the balance, and about Stark, and Arcadia, and... This is probably going to sound strange to you, but I'm clueless. I have no idea what this place is, or what I'm doing here, or...
Yeah, she's from the Prime Material
All
Plane.
I know is that something strange is happening in my world, I guess. I had dreams, and the dreams felt so real, and then things started happening in real life too. Things that couldn't happen, and
I think I will begin at the very beginning.
Thank you. I would
that is
appreciate
why
that.
you were sent here. To learn, to understand, to see for yourself. Like you said, you cannot believe in this place. Well, you will. After you have learned the truth, you will. Come with me, and I will tell you the story of Earth as your books never have. And when your eyes and ears are open to the truth, perhaps your mind will follow. We can only hope. Come.
Is this going to lead me down a deep, dark pit? Yeah, it is, isn't it?
This is the true story of the balance, as observed by the Sentinel, the Order of the Balance, the Fathers.
So
The
you.
Sentinel Minstrom committed this story to the pages of the scriptures, and to these temple walls, thousands of years ago, so that coming generations could learn and understand their past and their future. The wall paintings we are looking at became known as the Murals of the Balance. And it is through these images that I will recount our common history to you, April Ryan. The story begins and ends here, with this mural. Ages ago, and in ages to come, the Earth was one, and magic and science existed side by side in nature and in all people.
So was it called Starcadia at that time?
Balance, and there was harmony.
you're saying there was just one world then?
One world.
Ah,
one
they
Earth.
did this in the Forgotten Realms, and it was
Magic
lame.
And science in balance with each other, within each and every living creature. The power to make the stars dance and to create life itself was within our grasp.
Well, we can do that too
But
with
then,
cloning.
Humankind began to exploit this divine power of two, and they saw fit to use it for their own selfish purposes. The balance of the cosmos was in peril. Unless something was done, unless man was humbled and learned to fear the power he wrought over cosmos, the twilight of chaos would fall upon Earth. It had happened before, in distant times and on distant worlds, and it would happen again. And every man, woman, and child of every people and every race would be devoured by the coming apocalypse. We
Yeah,
were
it's not,
given a
you know, I mean,
visitation then.
they're tasty,
The
so it's
Drag
okay.
kin, having lived among us for untold generations, rose to offer their guidance and assistance in preserving the balance on our world.
I'm just gonna stand here and look at this one. Alright, fine, I'll come with you.
The Drag? I think I've heard that name before.
I haven't.
Dragon, Draken,
Oh.
Dragons, whichever name they go by, they remain the eternal servants and custodians of the balance. There were 4 of them here on Earth, and of the 4, one who would found the order of the balance, the Sentinel. The first Minstrum were instructed that magic and science would have to be separated before the balance collapsed and brought untold disaster.
So what you're saying is that Greek is
Earth
the
would have
original
to be
language.
split in 2 equal parts. Arcadia and Stark. Magic and science. Chaos and order. The
Yes,
first
of course, I'm
Sentinel
forgetting
were
the
counted
etymology of dragon.
13, 6 scientists, 6 magicians, and one who was between. The Draken, our mentor, our custodian, our learned guide. Both magic and science were needed to perform this most difficult of tasks.
But 13's an unlucky number.
To split a world in 2, to create 2 worlds from 1.
Wasn't the use of that kind of power dangerous to the balance?
Yes, and so for this purpose, they built a tower to channel their powers and focus them on the divide that they would create. The kin had brought a disc with them, a disc forged in the fire of their world.
Blu-ray?
Placed at the base of the tower, and the epicenter of the divide, the disc and the tower would become one. A conduit for the flow of magic and science.
Was it the Tower of
At the
Babel?
appointed hour, the 13 came to the tower, and with them a woman, whose destiny was decided by the purpose to which she had been born. She would be the first guardian, the human protector of the balance, who would stay in the tower for 1,000 years to watch over the 2 worlds, and to ensure that the flows of magic and science were always equal. And so the ritual began. One world was to become 2, separated by the balance, and each world visible to the other only by way of dreams. Who was ushered into which world was not an arbitrary choice, nor one taken lightly. For the magical creatures, the choice was simple. They had to go to Arcadia. Their kind would not survive in Stark. But for others, families were torn apart, lovers separated, and friends lost for all eternity. Encircled by the 12 and the one who would be guardian, the disc at the base of the tower began to spin faster and faster as more and more power flowed through it, until it was a blur. Darkness enveloped the tower, but the disc glowed brighter and brighter. Reality turned, and in one moment, a new reality had been created, and 2 new worlds born. In the tower there was silence. The original disc had disappeared, and in its place was a smaller counterpart, a similar yet different disc. Around and outside the tower the world looked different. They were now between Stark and Arcadia, between reality and dream. This was the realm of the balance and of the guardian, and it would be her home for the next 1,000 years. The one who was kin picked up the disc and said, "This disc is a counterpart to the original disc, which has now become this realm, and the key to which has been split and divided in 4. The key is the disc, and the disc is this realm." This mystified the 12, and the one who was kin continued, "Know only this. The Guardian's realm cannot be broken unless the disc is broken. But nor can it be repaired without the disc being repaired. The 4 pieces, that is the key, will be given to the 6 of you who are to be taken to Arcadia for safekeeping. Yet
Is it
the key
wise
will
to keep them
never
all
be
in the same place?
complete," he went on, "without the precious stones that adorn each piece. I will keep one, and my fellow kin the 3 others. Should the day come when this realm must be repaired, or the worlds reunited, and that day will come, you will assemble the disc, and the kin will come together one last time." With that, 6 of the 13 went to Arcadia, and 6 to Stark, and the one who would be guardian ascended to the throne. Witness the mural, where her dreams and hopes, her very soul, were locked away in the disk. In service of the balance, these traits were nothing but barriers. Through new eyes, the imbalance between the worlds was as clear as the stars themselves to the Guardian. And with one thought, she channeled chaos from Arcadia and logic from Stark into the disk, and redistributed the power wherever it was needed. A new era had begun. The era of the Guardian.
Oh, so the second, the
After
third
they left
Ultimate
the
Trilogy.
tower,
Okay.
2 of the Drakkin went to Stark, the other 2 to Arcadia. The 6 who came to each world started what is now known as the Sentinel, the Order of the Balance. But while in Arcadia the Sentinel thrived, in Stark they did not. In Stark, the memories of magic and the balance could not survive in the face of the new reality of natural laws, of logic, and of science. And
How do you know all this?
Very soon, Arcadia became nothing more than legend, a myth, tales of fairies to recount to impressionable children, and stories to frighten and entertain around a fire. And while dreams still brought sights and sounds of Arcadia to those asleep in Stark, they were discounted as mere dreams and nothing more.
So that's it? We forgot about our past and about Arcadia? And that's the way things are? Then what's wrong with that? And why does magic from Arcadia seem to have begun leaking through to Stark?
That is another long story. But I can tell that you are tired of stories, and so I shall be brief. As I told you, while in Arcadia, the Sentinel grew in numbers and in strength. In Stark, while flourishing for a brief time, they were soon diminished and powerless. Some of the Stark Sentinel did not take kindly to this, and they berated the Arcadian Sentinel for their politics and teachings. The Stark Sentinel wanted people to work towards reunification, while their brothers did not. So the inevitable soon came to pass, and the Stark Sentinel parted ways with their Arcadian brothers, and named themselves the Vanguard. And while at first their philosophy was not so different from ours, over the years it changed radically. The Vanguard wanted the divide torn down, the worlds reunited, and the return to what they called the Glorious Ages, when humankind could control the forces of cosmos.
That sounds a little bit dangerous.
But first they needed their own servant in charge of the balance, their own guardian. Now, every 1,000 years, a new guardian took the place of the old one, because no one can be separated from their souls for any longer than 1,000 years.
Well, that seems pretty arbitrary.
Every 1,000 years, a new guardian was born. The balance provided the seed from which a new fruit grew. But now, it has been 200 years since the previous guardian, the 12th guardian, was to be replaced. Every new child born to the balance has been taken away by the Vanguard, to be studied in an attempt to control them. In every instance so far, they have failed. But the 12th guardian could wait no longer. Only
is that
a
us?
short time ago, the disk in the tower
I
shattered,
don't remember, actually.
and the guardian left his throne. The balance is now untended, and we have yet to find a new guardian. Unless we do so, the Vanguard may get their chance. And they may be able to place their own puppet on the throne, to rule the balance according to their principles. And this we cannot allow. It will mean the end of Stark and Arcadia, and the dawn of an era of chaos.
It's probably
Now
not so
do you
bad.
see?
Nope, not at all.
I understand the
Can you do that all
history.
over again?
I can even accept it, but I don't understand why I'm here and what Cortez wants with me.
Oh, come on, April. Draw
The
the
balance is in peril, April.
connections.
The Guardian has abandoned his tower. He has disappeared, and there is no one to take his place. He must be reinstated to protect the balance until a new Guardian may be found.
And what can I do? I'm nobody. I've just been having a lot of bad dreams.
You are a strong shifter. I have not seen your like in my lifetime.
How can you tell?
Shifter?
Someone capable of opening doors between worlds. A shift. a portal between the realms of Stark and Arcadia.
I thought that was called a
Are
slide.
you kidding? I didn't do anything. Cortez was the one who opened the shift, and he just waved his hands around in the air. I don't think I'd be capable of opening a portal even if I had a magic wand.
Who do you think I
Only a
am, Harry
shifter's
Potter?
own power can allow her to travel. No one else can do this for her. Cortez only channeled your power to aid you. He would not be able to step through this shift himself.
Even if that's true, I don't have any control over my talent.
Not yet. But in time you will. How else do you intend to travel back to your world?
God, I hadn't even thought about that yet. Can't you help me?
I'm afraid not. Even if I could shift, I would not be able to channel through you like Cortez did.
So, I'm on my own?
If you have any questions, I will do my best to answer them. But aside from that, yes. Yes, you are.
Ah, poop.
That's so not cool.
No, it has been unseasonably warm.
That's not what I meant.
If you don't mind, I will return to my studies now. Thank you for listening to an old man and his long stories.
And it was quite long.
No, thank you. It's starting to make a little bit of sense now.
She's lying.
That is good news. Come see me again if you have any more questions.
Oh, and I do. And hey, we have a new diary option. Let's see. I've just been told The Story of the Balance by Vestrum Tobias, and I figured I should write this down while I still remember bits and pieces of it. Talk about cryptic history. Tobias lost me somewhere around the 12 and the 1. Like, excuse me? What? I should have said excuse me. But I think I got the gist of it. There are two worlds. One is Stark, the other the world of science, what I call Earth. And then there's Arcadia, the world of magic, what people here call Earth. Two Earths, then, which gets a little confusing, but not half as confusing as what came after. A long, long time ago, there was just one Earth, and this Earth had both magic and science, but mankind has always had a habit of screwing things up. Oh, how prophetic. And this is what they did on the original Earth. They got too powerful, learned how to move stars and be gods by combining the powers of magic and science. So an alien race called the Drakeen decided to interfere to prevent mankind from destroying their own world. So why is it not, why is the name not cognate in like every language on Earth? One of the so-called kin founded this religious movement called the Sentinel, or the Fathers, who are self-appointed watchers over the balance between magic and science. The Sentinel were instrumental in dividing the Earth into two dimensions, Stark and Arcadia, science and magic. They also put a woman in charge of controlling and channeling the balance between the two worlds, a guardian of the balance who lives in a tower in a sort of in-between realm, and who's replaced every 1,000 years by a new guardian. I had no idea that the Guardian was like that. He should have said something to me as the Avatar. Maybe I would have, understood what was going on then. So then life goes on for like thousands of years until the Sentinel starts squabbling internally, and the Sentinel priests in Stark decide to break with their Arcadian friends and found this new cult or whatever called the Vanguard. So why are they over here and not over in Stark? That's my question, which will probably be answered, but we'll find out later. The Vanguard want the worlds reunited, and they plan to do this by controlling the Guardian himself, or herself. This is what they've been doing for a few hundred years now, destroying potential Guardians by performing experiments on them or something. My hand is starting to cramp up. I'm amazed I even remember half of this. Anyway, the current Guardian couldn't stay any longer, and he left this tower in the middle of nowhere, and now the balance is in danger. Apparently Chaos can really do some serious damage to both Stark and Arcadia, which does remind me of my dream. Not sure what's the right word anymore. With the black chaos thingy, the vortex that attacked me. That's probably a sign of what's going to happen if somebody doesn't do something to save the balance. And I'm sensing this coming on, because that's how it always goes with these things. And that somebody is me. Because apparently I'm a strong shifter. Somebody has to find the Guardian, get him back in the tower to save the balance, and then do something about the Vanguard. Get them to see that they're screwing with things they shouldn't be screwing with. Hey, easy! I do that kind of stuff before breakfast. Well, that's good. Alright, because of that rather long sequence, is that just on me? I saw the... oh, whatever. We'll go a little bit longer on this episode, so it's not just all that conversation. Also, curtains.
Enormous satin drapes.
Hey, at least they have satin here. Alright, I have some questions.
Excuse me.
Squeeze me. Let's see. Do you know a man named Brian Westhouse?
Do you know a man named Brian Westhouse?
Westhouse? That old goat? Yes, unfortunately. What would you with him?
I need to find him.
I do not know where he lives. I hear somewhere on the outskirts of the city by the sea, but I cannot tell you any more than that.
I can't take that long to search all that. Who would know about Westhouse?
Who'd know about Westhouse?
His whereabouts? I do not understand what you would with him. He is rude, uncultured, and ignorant.
Cortez told me to look him up.
Well, I do not know where he lives or frequents, but someone at the market may. He trades merchandise there, and I think he collects maps of the Northlands.
Oh, we know someone to talk to about that. Who did you say I should see about Westhouse?
Who did you say I should see about Westhouse?
The map merchant at the market may know. There is one thing I must tell you, however. Few would know Westhouse by his real name.
Oh?
In the city, he is known as the Rolling Man, because of his strange two-wheeled vehicle. A most dreadful and dangerous contraption if I ever saw one.
A bicycle?
Perhaps. It has a grotesque appearance, much like the Westhouse himself.
Aw, come on. Bicycles are great. What do you know about Cortez?
What do you know about Cortez?
Your mentor,
do you know about Saren?
What has he told you about himself?
Nothing.
Not much. Nothing, in fact. He's a complete mystery to me.
To learn something about someone, the best way to go about it is to ask them yourself. There is nothing I can do to enlighten you.
Sure there
But
is.
who is he?
He is who he is, what he is.
I hate that
If
kind
he
of
has
answer.
not told you himself, then perhaps he does not wish you to know. It would be improper for me to divulge his secrets.
I'm not asking about his
You're
secrets.
as bad as he is. No offense. It's just frustrating.
I understand. The next time you see him, tell him what you have told me. Maybe he will tell you the truth, maybe he will not. It is his choice to make.
I mean, if you know it, and he didn't tell you it in confidence, if you just know it by, existing temporarily close to him or something like that, it's not a secret. Tell me. Tell me. Do you mind if I ask you some questions about Arcadia?
Do you mind if I ask you some questions about Arcadia?
I will try my best to answer any question you may have, April.
What's the history of
What's
Arcadia?
the history of Arcadia?
There is so much I do not know where to begin. In truth, it would be wiser to ask someone else, unless you wish to know about the Fathers, the Balance, or Mudhoppers.
The what?
Mudhoppers?
My secret passion. I study them. They are a most fascinating species.
You know the word species?
Fascinating indeed. But I am not practically versed in the intricacies of history, I'm sorry to say.
What's Marcuria like?
What's Marcuria like?
I have lived in this city all my life, and still it amazes me what a diverse, exciting, and wonderful place it is.
I don't know, I thought it was kind of a
Many have
dump.
called Marcuria the jewel of the Northlands, and they are right. But it is a diamond in the rough. A city this size can never be flawless. There are always shadows, and people who hide in them. Lately the shadows have grown and darkened, and I fear for the future. But Marcuria is still a wonderful place to live.
Those are a bit dichotomous, but okay. What else can you tell me?
What else can you tell me about Marcuria?
Marcuria is the capital of Ireed, the unified country, and we are located on the southern coast of the Northlands, halfway between Tyran and Khorasan. Between the Snapjaw and the Gaintbeast, some might call it. Between the embers and the fire. Yet democracy and peace have reigned for thousands of years now, and although relations may at times be strained with our tyrant neighbors, the High Council are masters of diplomacy. And Lord Igvandellan is a firm and just chief counselor of the Iredan flag.
Can I go to Khorasan? I might meet Sinbad, who isn't really Sinbad. That would be kind of neat. Tell me about
Tell me
Iride.
a little about Ireed.
Or I read?
I read means both unification and assembly in High Tongue, and many still call I read the unified country, even though it is an age and a half since the lands of the north joined together in alliance. I read stretches from the plains of Nedra in the north to the Great Sea in the south, and from the territories of Tyran in the west to the thick woodlands in the east. It is populated by humans and Dolmare, Tyran and a number of other races. It is even said that a tribe of Venar have a ring of trees in Riverwood, though I'm not sure that is anything but a myth.
What are the Northlands?
What are the Northlands?
The Northlands is a collective term for all the lands north of the Great Sea, and south of the border mountains including Ireed, Tyran, and Khorasan.
Still, I want to go to
Before,
Khorasan. I might
however,
meet
the word Northlands was
Fix
used
and
to
Bet.
describe this entire continent, including the territories north of the mountains and the icy wastes beyond that. Some still prefer the latter interpretation of the name. And to the people of the Southlands, anyone hailing from north of the Great Sea is a Northlander regardless.
Seems
Thanks
reasonable.
for the information.
I'm glad I could assist you.
Let's see. Well, we already know how we're supposed to get back to Stark, so we're supposed to see Westhouse. So, I'll see you later.
You will? If you say so, then it must be true.
Yes. Okay. Whatever you say, buddy. Let's get out of here. Let's head back down to the stalls, talk to the map merchant. We'll see what he can tell us about Westhouse, or as they call him, the Rolling Man.
In a world without the screen.
Maps!
Let's see. I'm looking for Brian Westhouse.
I'm looking for Brian Westhouse.
Briar west of house? It's not on any of my maps, and I've never heard of it. Maps!
It's a man, not a place, Mr. Brian Westhouse.
I would most certainly remember a name as queer as that, and I don't. Get your maps while they're fresh.
Maps don't spoil, per se. Fine, can you tell me where the Rolling Man
Can you
lives?
tell me where the Rolling Man lives?
Maybe, maybe not. Why?
Because I need to find him.
Sorry, guild rules. I'm not allowed to divulge any personal information about my customers. Maps!
I feel like you're lying to me. I really need to know where he lives, though.
I really need to know where the Rolling Man lives.
Sorry, can't do.
Please? Pretty please?
No, 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 young lady. Don't give me that doe-eyed look. Don't. Blasted be the balance. You're giving me that doe-eyed look, aren't you?
Yes.
I
Yes.
still can't tell you, though. I got maps.
Please tell me where he lives.
Please tell me where the Rolling Man lives.
No, can't do, miss. I can't divulge personal information about my customers.
Who is this person?
You're late again. And you know what else? You're fired. Give me back the delivery list and get your sorry blue skin elsewhere.
Well, that's really rude. Jeez.
Hired hell. Bah! Never hire a Dolmari to do a human job.
Well, now that seems pretty racist, sir. What are you gonna do now without a delivery boy?
What are you gonna do now without a delivery boy?
Hire a new one, of course. Blasted be the balance. That means I'll have to pay the damn fee to the Guild of Merchants. Damnation.
Well, maybe I could do it for you.
Maybe I could help you out.
You? How?
I'm quick, honest, and reliable, and I've got a lot of experience in the service industry.
You believe me, don't you?
Perhaps a female errand boy. It could work. If the Guild of Merchants don't find out.
What, they're
I
sexist?
won't tell them if you don't.
Mind the pay is not much, only a single errand per delivery, plus whatever tip the customer may see fit to give you.
I'll take the job if you
I'll
want me.
take the job, if you want me.
Agreed. Maybe you'll even bring in some new business. Here's the delivery list for today.
Don't know
Your
how I
first
could, but
map.
whatever.
It's for the captain of the White Dragon. Nebeve, I think his name is. You'll find him in the harbor.
Okay. Well, we have a new...
Oh, and remember to have the customers sign the delivery list. The guild are sticklers for protocol. No signature, no money, no new jobs.
Bye
Okay.
now.
Maps, fresh, detailed, life-saving maps.
So fresh. So fresh. Delivery list. 1 map of the Sea of Songs to Captain Horatian Nebeve of the White Dragon. A map of Chengagriel, the Wasteland, to the Rolling Man. 1 map of the Northlands to be delivered to Tun Luiek at the Journeyman Inn. Those are odd spellings.
1 map of the Sea of Songs to Captain Horatio Nebeve of the White Dragon. Interesting spelling.
Yes, that's exactly what I was
A
saying.
map of Changangriel. Changangriel? Why can't these magical worlds have place names like Boston, London, or Kansas City? It's always like Loth this and Irid that. Like, cut back on the consonants already. 1 map of the Northlands to be delivered to Tonlayak at the Journeyman Inn.
Wow, she was able to pronounce that pretty well. Okay. Well, we have a map
It's
to
a
deliver
map
to
of the
him.
Sea of Songs. I was told to deliver it to Captain Horatio Nebeve.
Okay. So when we return in the next episode, we will go ahead and see what we can do about that delivery. See you next time, everyone.